you, Jen, but you can stop kissing up to me for forgetting to thank me at the Oscars.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at Oscar moments that carry an upsetting subtext knowing what we know now.
Robert Opal.
Number 10, Luise Rainer and the Oscar Curse. Luise Rainer became the first performer to win consecutive Oscars for The Great Ziegfeld and The Good Earth.
No, not the land. We'll not sell the land. We'll keep it. We'll go south. And when we return, we still have the land.
If her first Best Actress win wasn't an indication, her second seemingly confirmed that Rainer had a long career in Hollywood ahead. However, Rainer followed her second victory with 3 flops in 1 year.
There's only one thing I shall never forget. The inspiration you once gave me.
After taking a 5-year hiatus from the screen, Rainer returned to make one more film she knew wouldn't be an Oscar player. She subsequently left Hollywood again, only popping up a couple more times. Rainer reflected on her Oscars as the worst possible thing that could have happened to her cinematic career, having set an impossible standard going forward. Sometimes, winning the Oscar is a curse rather than a blessing, Rainer being Exhibit A.
And I don't believe in that, don't believe in acting. I believe in being.
Number 9, Karla Gascon's nomination. On January 23, 2025, Karla Gascon became the first openly transgender acting nominee for Emilia Perez.
No, Rita, no vine por casualidad. No vine tampoco por amistad.
While the film might have been divisive, Gascon's nomination was a landmark for the transgender community. What started as an inspirational Oscar milestone was soon clouded with controversy, as Gascon's laundry list of hateful social media posts came to light. Many have found Gascon's attempted apologies insincere, portraying herself as the victim by saying things like, "I haven't killed a single fly. When I have a spider in my house, I put a little glass on it so as not to kill it and take it out to the street."
Y en ese aspecto sí me gustaría incidir porque hemos tenido que mandar ciertas pruebas a otras ciudades porque aquí la policía judicial no tiene los medios suficientes, señores, no tiene los medios suficientes para hacer las pesquisas como es necesario.
Although history may remember Gascon's breakthrough at the Oscars, her problematic behavior is also intertwined with her complicated legacy.
¿Qué soy yo? No la dejaré hacer eso.
Number 8, Howard Ashman's Hidden Struggle. In March 1990, Howard Ashman and Alan Menken picked up their Oscars for co-writing Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid.
Under the sea, darling, it's better down where it's wetter, take it from me.
It was a joyous night, but Ashman had something he needed to tell Menken. Ashman had been diagnosed with HIV/AIDS 2 years earlier.
He said, well, you know, I'm sick. And all of a sudden, you know, a million dominoes just went.
The songwriting duo continued their work at Disney, with the studio throwing support behind Ashman, whose condition was worsening. In March 1991, 1 year after the Oscars and several months before Beauty and the Beast premiered, Ashman tragically died.
And I bent over to say my goodbyes and tell him what he meant to us. And I said, Howard, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, people love this movie. Who'd have thought? And Howard said, I would've.
It's bittersweet looking back at Ashman's only moment on the Oscar stage, although it wouldn't be his only win. Menken and Ashman's partner, Bill Loach, paid tribute to the late lyricist when Beauty and the Beast won Best Original Song.
Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast.
Number 7, Halle Berry opens the door. As Halle Berry tearfully accepted the Best Actress Oscar for Monsters Ball, it seemed like the beginning of a more diverse Academy.
It's a great night. I never thought it would be possible in my lifetime.
Berry returned next year as a presenter, receiving a kiss from Adrian Brody that didn't age spectacularly. While that year's Best Actress lineup had one person of color in Salma Hayek, none of the nominees were black. Since Berry's watershed win, the Best Actress category has seen less than 10 black nominees as of writing.
And to sit here almost 15 years later and knowing that another woman of color has not walked through that door is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Because I thought that moment was bigger than me.
It'd take another 22 years for Michelle Yeoh to become the second person of color to win Best Actress, with Berry co-presenting the award. As monumental as Berry's win is, it serves as a disheartening reminder of how little progress has been made in more than 2 decades.
If we're telling the truth, that inclusion and diversity will be a byproduct of the truth.
Totally.
And will naturally be there.
Number 6. The response to Sacheen Littlefeather. When Marlon Brando won Best Actor for The Godfather, actress and civil rights activist Sacheen Littlefeather walked on stage instead. Littlefeather announced that Brando wasn't accepting his Oscar in protest of how Hollywood had treated Native Americans.
Sacheen Littlefeather delivered Brando's acceptance speech. It was not well received.
While this moment has always been surreal, it's grown increasingly uncomfortable hearing audience members boo Littlefeather amid mild applause. It's even more disturbing considering the aftermath. Littlefeather says she was blacklisted and threatened. She even claims shots were fired at her outside Brando's house, although some have called this into question.
I can still speak for myself. I lived through the experience, and I'm still here.
Littlefeather's Native American ancestry has also been debated. In any case, the response to Littlefeather's Oscar appearance only seemed to prove what she was trying to express. Indigenous peoples have been mistreated with their struggles being unjustly ignored.
I think she did very well, and I was very glad that she did have what opportunity she had to say what she did.
Number 5. Ellen's Oscar selfie. The second time she hosted the Oscars in 2014, Ellen DeGeneres literally broke Twitter with a group selfie featuring several A-listers.
And then you thought I was being rude telling Meryl to get out of the picture.
Yeah, I was like, Ellen's got this thing. It was like, she's like short-circuiting in front of billions of people.
Becoming the most retweeted post at the time, this was the kind of viral moment that the Academy dreams of. DeGeneres also seemed to epitomize everything that the Academy wanted in a host. She was infectiously upbeat, spontaneous yet not too edgy, and 150% controversy-free. For a period.
Sorry, Ellen DeGeneres, this chicken nuggets tweet could become the most retweeted ever. Did you hear that?
6 years after the selfie, DeGeneres faced a firestorm of toxic workplace accusations, setting the stage for her early retirement. Looking back at the selfie now, the happy-go-lucky host at the center seems more disingenuous than we remember. The presence of Kevin Spacey doesn't help, and yeah, let's talk about that.
I was sitting like 3 or 4 seats in, and I think I had to climb over John Travolta or somebody to get to it. But I saw this happening and I was like, oh, this is the most awesome photobomb. I'm getting in it.
Number 4. Kevin Spacey, all downhill. In The Usual Suspects, Kevin Spacey played a criminal mastermind who slips through the hands of justice. In American Beauty, he played a man who lusts after a minor.
Do you want to sit?
Sure. What makes these performances even more unsettlingly given what we know now? The fact that Spacey won Oscars for both. One could argue that these are still great performances, but for many, it's impossible not to draw parallels to real life.
From the Oscar stage to a courtroom across the pond, today, actor Kevin Spacey faced a judge amid accusations of sexual offenses.
The same goes for Spacey's Oscar speeches. In his first, Spacey described Kaiser Soze as the person who manipulates, who hovers over us, comparing him to his friend, director Bryan Singer. Winning for American Beauty, Spacey said, "This is the highlight of my day. I hope it's not all downhill from here." It was.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. And like that, he's gone.
Number 3. The Streaker's Grim Fate. At the 46th Academy Awards, artist Robert Opel ran across the stage completely naked, much to the surprise of David Niven and the audience.
Can I speak for you? I'll speak for you.
As scandalous as this was, everyone seemed to have a good laugh, especially Niven. Looking back, it's still pretty funny and lighthearted, until you do some digging into what happened to Opel not long after. In 1979, 5 years following the streaking episode, Opel found himself at gunpoint in his studio. The assailants, Robert E. Kelly and Maurice Keenan, sought drugs and money. When Opel tried turning them away, one of the armed men threatened to shoot him in the head, which is ultimately what happened.
Somebody in my family was murdered, and the reason why, I don't know.
Although he waved a peace sign at the Oscars, Opel met a violent end.
Well, it's one of those one-time things.
Number 2. P. Diddy heals the moment. After Will Smith infamously slapped Chris Rock at the 2022 ceremony, people were still processing what happened when Summer of Soul won Best Documentary. Who could possibly get the show back on track after such a shocking incident? A pre-scandal P. Diddy, of course.
Mr. Combs, is this not the perfect father-daughter date night?
I'm speechless.
Being the next presenter, Diddy acknowledged the elephant in the room. After asking the audience to give the 3 female hosts a round of applause, Diddy called this the most exciting Oscars ever. He told Smith and Rock they'd resolve this at the gold party, but for now, they'd move on with love. A source said Diddy was trying to say something to heal the moment.
It's all love. We're gonna move on with love, love, love.
In retrospect, Smith is no longer the most controversial figure who attended the 94th Academy Awards.
Much like Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, he's at the center of his very own Me Too reckoning.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Oscar in Love with Weinstein. If you watch every Oscar telecast between 1996 and 2016, you'd hear quite a few people thank fallen movie mogul Harvey Weinstein.
According to The Hollywood Reporter, he built relationships with members of the Academy by personally calling them to chat about his movies, arranging dinners for them with the stars of his films, and hiring Academy members at his companies.
34 times, in fact, tying with God for the second most thank yous after Steven Spielberg. Speaking of Mr. Spielberg, people were astounded when his masterpiece, Saving Private Ryan, lost Best Picture to the Miramax-produced Shakespeare in Love.
Take off your hat.
My hat.
Where'd you learn how to do that? Let me see you. Take off your hat.
Weinstein, who shared in the win as a producer, was accused of resorting to mudslinging tactics on the campaign trail. This was just one example of how Weinstein misused his power. Although Weinstein's eventual downfall shocked some, it was a long time coming to others.
His sentence is long enough for him, at least, to begin to understand what he's done. Whether he will ever be truly sorry, I don't know.
This included Seth MacFarlane, who called out Weinstein while announcing the Oscar nominations a few years earlier.
Congratulations, you 5 ladies no longer have to pretend to be attracted to Harvey Weinstein.
Which Oscar moment do you look back at differently? Let us know in the comments.
Weinstein, who triggered the Me Too movement, is going to be behind bars for at least 23 years.
Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.